All right, welcome back to the best NFT show in the gosh dang world. We're about to have ourselves an awesome episode here talking everything NFTs. Let me know if I'm coming through all right. I've got my main man, Ronan, the collector, that's going to go through this awesome interview that we have, as well as taking you around the NFT industry. We're about to have ourselves a great day, man. It is a great day. How are you feeling, my man?
Good, dude. Good. I'm really having a good day so far. I think it's been another excellent week in the NFT space. Lots to talk about today. We've got some excellent guests joining us to talk about what I think is an excellent project. It's kind of like totally different. It's a different approach to art, and the amount of work that these guys put into their art is absolutely insane. So, really looking forward to talking to the Automobilist team and kind of getting into that chat today, as well as bringing everybody the update for the week of their news. So big shout out to everybody who's joining us in chat. Marty McFly was definitely first by a long shot. We appreciate you being here, brother. DJ Savage, it's good to see you. Hash Rhymes, thank you so much for all of the help and work that you put into the community. Llama, you as well. What's going on, Scott? Who else is in here? Stamina, Nick Swervis, how you doing, buddy? It's been a great afternoon. So hopefully you guys are having a good day. How about you, Q? How's your week been?
I'm always good when NFT lives on a Tuesday, man. I feel like this new home for our episode is like doing really well. It's a nice little space out between now and Friday when we do our second episode of the week. So I'm having a great time. Lad City is rocking. We have a bunch of people in the chat. I appreciate you guys showing up early as we just pressed the live button. Can't wait to get to this interview, and we'll get to it here in a second. A lot of you guys are going to be blown away. I feel like we've had those type of interviews here on the channel here the past 2 or 3 weeks where we're like, okay, diving deeper. Wow, this is a lot, and I'm really excited to kind of explore this project, as you said. So we're going to get to it, guys. We have some LADZ updates to get to very quickly. One of the first ones is an interview between two lads. What's going on there, Ronan? What happened with you last week?
Yeah, man. So for anybody who's here, probably knows that I hopped straight out of NFT Live, went straight into an interview with Young Content, which ended up being a really great conversation. Him and I feel like he's like a brother from another mother. We had an excellent convo. He, really understands the space. He gets it. From a collector's point of view, it was really cool to kind of have the opportunity to have a chat with him and talk about what how I got into NFTs, where I came from, my background, like why I'm so obsessed with the space, and why it's special to me. So I definitely think it was a lot of fun, and it was really cool to hang out with Young. So I appreciate that opportunity, man, and hopefully some of the lads caught that interview. I saw some people pop into chat. I appreciate you hanging out, Q. It was cool. So it was a good time, man. It was a really good time. We really had a good back and forth. So.
Listen, he's got your mustache blown by a mile, Ronan. You're going to need to update and upgrade that mustache because look at my man Young Content here with the style. Sheesh. He's doing a good
Yeah,
job
man.
there.
Yeah. He's got great content. Check out his channel. Make sure you continue to follow. He talked a little bit about the plans he's got, and for the space, and he wants to kind of provide the comedy spin on NFTs and like what's going on here. And I think that's something that obviously like we love here, right? Like when we have those skits on Fridays that the community provides is really invigorating. So big shout out to Young and the content that he produces.
Absolutely. All right, second update so that we can get into this interview is going to be this update from our Twitter. We have an NFT snapback collab. So if you guys don't know CryptoLander is behind the scenes scheduling all of these interviews, making sure everything goes according to plan as we get started. We obviously have shows every single day of the week. So that is a hard thing to do, to get all of that together, to make sure everything's perfect. So Lander's getting after it, and he's also getting back after it with this NFT snapback project that he is launching with Crypto Kongs first. And guess what? We are getting added. So Lad City is actually added to this drop here with NFT Snapback. He's going to be releasing, I believe, about 250 snapbacks with Crypto Kong's embroideries on them. And if you own one of our Lad City drippies that we had on sale last month, you are going to get a free drop as well of this physical piece. So just a quick look at what he's got going on over there. Pretty cool little website here that I'll kind of get into. But basically, he's taking that Crypto Kongs in the same way CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club, in the same way that all of these different art projects are taking the actual NFT and creating derivative items, basically, this is what you have. So he's going to create NFT snapbacks. I can't believe NFT snapback was actually available as a URL, but that actually is existing. So for all of you LADZ Drippy holders, you guys are going to get paid out here. Excited to bring that to you, man, as this gets built out a little bit more.
I think it's super cool. Obviously, anytime somebody in the community is doing something, we want to, support them and being able to check this out. I just got to see this right before we came on, and I thought it was an excellent idea. Shout out to Crypto Lander for doing it. I think that when you look at what makes this space so special, the ability to build on these opportunities like derivatives and be able to do the snapbacks and the different clothes collections and pieces of art. The Bored Apes were out there doing the Vans thing last week. And I think that's cool, man. And I think that it's what is so special and unique about the technology and what it provides for. So nice to see somebody in the community boot up a really cool project, and then include the LADZ obviously as well. So I'm looking forward to that. I probably need to get my LADZ in.
It's still in my wallet. I'll send it to you. I promise.
I'll send you the ETH for it.
All right. So
swap.
Guys, episode preview. Again, we do have the team from Automobilist that is going to be getting interviewed right here very shortly. It's like a 60-second countdown basically for that. We have a full episode after that. Main topics are going to be Blankos. Blankos hit us with a major update right before the episode dropped. Sandbox Sale, Artifex, Christies, Bored Ape Yacht Club, some market discussion, and then sports leagues kind of getting involved. So that is the episode preview. And Ronan, you want to hit them with the like and subscribe for me, man? You do such a good job.
Absolutely. So if you guys are hanging out today and you're enjoying the content that we are producing, we really appreciate if you hit the like button. You also subscribe to the channel, share it on Twitter, because we know you guys have Twitter. We follow you, and you can hit the retweet button for us. We appreciate that very much, so we can get some guests in here to hang out with us in the Automobilist team, who we are going to be bringing up next. I think you guys are going to really like this product if you've not heard about it yet. It does have a cool vibe. I'm an F1 guy, as you can see. So being able to see these recreations of these moments is just dope. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video that we have for you. And right afterwards, we will be hanging out with a couple of the team members from this project.
Imagine telling an epic story or producing an entire Hollywood movie in one still shot. That's what we do. We honor history by bringing it back at a level of detail and a depth of visual storytelling never experienced before. All of this requires more than just an artist's vision. Mountains of text, film, and photographs, combined with detailed testimonials from historians and eyewitnesses, provide the foundation for authenticity. That data is then placed in the hands of highly skilled artisans who push their passion, talents, and technology to the utmost limits. Using the best technologies and the best materials, recreating a moment in history in a way that could have never been imagined in its own day. We bring back a moment in time that will stand the test of time.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Very cool.
Yeah, you got him, Ronan? Go ahead.
Yeah. So very cool. I hope you, everybody who is watching, enjoyed that intro. I think it kind of gets the blood flowing. We do want to say thank you guys so much for joining us. We have Jan, Dominique, and Pavel with us today from the team. Please introduce yourselves. Let us know a little bit about who you are and what you kind of do on this project, and we'll kind of get into the weeds after that.
Yeah, should start. Okay. Hi, I'm Jan. And I'm sort of creative director on the project. So I'm responsible for all the visual outputs that we do. So I do pretty much all of the concepts, all of the graphic design. I do all of the photography and the photo shooting, and then most of the composition and Photoshop work as well. Obviously, there's a much bigger team behind it, so there's another 4 or 5 people helping me with all that. Including different 3D artists and other people, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, my name is Pavel. My background is motorsport, mainly Formula 1, MotoGP, WRC in the past, and I'm the networking person. Most of our projects are connected with automotive brands and motorsports, and this is what I try to do and interconnect and use the endorsement.
Hi, and I'm Dom. So my background is in marketing and sales. I worked for a long time for people like Red Bull and stuff like that. And what I do here primarily is really drive our agenda when it comes to the digital space. So for us as a collective, it's relatively new, right? So we only did our first Genesis drop a couple of weeks back. But if we rewound like 2 years, there were people here working on these fine arts who never had any idea that we would be sitting here talking about doing drops and getting involved in the community. So really my role is, I'm affectionately known, I think, as the NFT guy, right? In the office. So, I'm really here to kind of bring what we're doing to all of you guys in a meaningful way. And that's me.
Excellent. Thank you guys so much for the intro. I think that this project is super unique to me to see how much effort that you guys put into, the time and just like the detail to make sure that you get this one beautiful, like absolutely amazing piece of art. It was astounding to me. I would have never guessed. Honestly, the first time I looked at it, I thought it was 100% just 3D. Everything was thrown together, but to see like the live actors and the production was really, really cool. I did want to touch on something that you just mentioned, which is, you're in the NFT space now, but like, where were you guys 2 years ago? Have you been doing kind of like the fine art thing from the beginning? Has that always been your goal, or have you kind of pivoted as time has kind of gone on?
Yeah, I think like the core of the business, and correct me if I'm wrong, has always been about the fine art, has always been about the story and the craft. And I think kind of, 2 years ago, or even longer, 3 or 4 years ago, these fine arts were printed in high quality, framed, in large sizes and sold to collectors and limited runs, So that was always at the heart. But then what's happened is the world has changed, as we've gone on, and now we're able to really bring these beautiful pieces to a new audience, which is like so exciting.
So take me behind how you guys got involved in NFTs, and what was the decision to actually say, okay, we're actually going to jump into this industry. We like what's going on, and this is a perfect fit for Automobilist as we go forward. And I love these videos that you guys supplied us with. They're actually just absolutely amazing, and getting across how much goes into these individual pieces. I mean, seriously, just individual pieces. You guys are absolutely killing it.
Yeah, well, I think like probably the first thing is your reaction, So like, I think within this space, like the collectors are all so serious and also passionate about the art, and we also enjoy what everyone else is doing as a collective, as a creative collective, and I think that's primarily what's attracted us to kind of get involved. Obviously, the whole world has become more sort of known, and more mainstream in the last sort of year or two, definitely with some of the things that have happened and have been in the news. But I think for us, it's really about the fact that collectors are so passionate. We've always had really passionate collectors, right? We've always had, and that's the thing that really drives us, is that feedback and response. And I think the creative guys get a kick from that. So
I would maybe add that the original product has been always digital file, and everything we do is in 3D, and there's a huge amount of behind every picture. There are 200 hours of research and 4,000 hours of creation process and building. And I can say maybe about something about this.
Yeah, well, I mean, as Pavel mentioned, so it's always been a digital product, and I think the initial message that we wanted to put into it is still in there, and this is just like another way how to spread it between the people. And I think one of the first things when we started was that we are all like very technical guys, so for us it was also like some kind of a technological challenge, because we wanted to create I mean, back then when we started, it was 2012, so we really wanted to create something that no one ever done before. And one of these goals or pillars was also the resolution and the size and the level of the details and all that, because I mean, back then it was not normal. In these days it's getting a little bit easier, but it was really something very demanding back then, and I think it's still with us to these days. And yeah,
maybe the main idea what we are trying.
Yeah, it was partially mentioned in the video, but it was really about bringing back the moments from the history that you couldn't capture back then, or there was just simply no one to take a picture of it, or there are pictures but they're just, you know, black and white in a really poor quality. So we just really wanted to bring it back to life in a way that no one ever seen. And that was also the reason this is actually the very first project that it all started. It was a collection of the Silver Arrows cars, which was like racing cars of Mercedes-Benz and Auto Union before. It ended up in a series of 12 artworks, and we spent almost 3 years working on it and finishing it. And it was really these cars driving in 30s and 40s before the war, and there's just a couple of black and white pictures, and that's it. So it was really, yeah, this was the main message, to really bring back something that you cannot experience again.
Yeah, and I think that, like, with that said, both the fact that, you know, the files are originally digital, but also that, like, they connect with, like, these moments and these times that you can't really bring back any other way, kind of speaks to the ethos of, like, you know, what NFTs are about, right? Like, they're that story and connection, and just like any other art, right? Like, you have that moment in time that you just, like, can really connect with, and to have it and be able to display it, I think is a really cool opportunity that you're providing people. You know, I start as a, you know, an F1 fan. I'm like, oh my gosh, like thinking of like certain like Senna moments, right? Like, and, you know, you guys talk about the Silver Arrows, thinking about like Lewis Hamilton and, you know, and for me, like Max Verstappen. And so, you know, like just having like these moments, like his first win and stuff, like to think that you guys can create them in such vivid detail is absolutely amazing and outstanding. So, you know, maybe, you know, if you want to touch a little bit on what you guys have coming up. You know, we see that you did have your very first drop a couple of weeks ago that we see here on the screen, and then you do have the one that just went live, which we actually shared in chat. If anybody wants to check out their newest auction, it is on SuperRare. Very, very cool. It's that yellow vehicle that we saw the preview of yet right there. If you guys want to talk a little bit about what you're up to now, but also kind of what you guys are looking towards in the future. You know, do you have plans to maybe work with, you know, other motorsports or anything else in the NFT space?
You say about the Elizabeth unit and the product?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Well, I think Paul will get a little bit deeper into what we are planning next. So I'll just a few words about the one you're showing right now before we get into this. So this one, it was actually one of the very first projects we did right after the Silver Arrows. I mean, as you can see, it was a combination of the photography and the CG. We actually did it, I think, in November or in December, so we couldn't really go out to location and shoot a location. So pretty much everything you see in the picture is digital, and then just the people were shot separately, as you can see here. In studio and then composed together. Actually, the story is quite interesting. It was one of the very few female drivers. Especially this one was very exceptional because it was in 1928 when there was not a lot of female drivers back in 20s, and this was a race in Italy on Sicily called Targa Florio, which was like one of the toughest races ever. And she did really well. She almost won the race. Then she had a puncture at the very last lap, so she ended up like 8 minutes after the winner. So I think she ended up on 5th place. And Actually, she's coming from the same country as some of us do. So there was also like another dimension to it. So we were able to talk to the relatives. We were able to talk to the guys who owns the car. She was very tiny, so they had to modify the car for her. So if you look at the picture, so she, for example, she had a little pillow behind her back. So she could reach the pedals because the car was just too big for her. And or they had to do like a different entering into the car because she was really tiny, so it was easier for her to get in and get out. And there's not a lot of cars painted yellow. It was a Bugatti T35 car. So the car doesn't exist anymore, this one. So we really had to recreate the car exactly as it was during the race. So she had all these little modifications. So even if you had an access to the car, you cannot really, take a picture of it and then place it somewhere because it's not accurate. So the historical accuracy is really one of the key focus when we work as well. So everything you see in the picture is exactly as it was. Maybe one interesting thing, we've discussed it with the Bugatti Heritage as well, with the factory. And they found like 2 little mistakes in the picture, so we had to fix them. One of them, there was like an oil, a racing oil on one of the towers at the bottom, and it was like a different type of oil that was used for street cars, not for the racing cars. So it has like a slightly different badge on it, so we had to change the badge on that oil. And one more little detail. So it was really there's really a lot of effort going not only into creating it, but you also have to know what you're creating. So the entire process of research is also like taking a big part of the production.
I think the authenticity is absolutely key. And as Jan mentioned, we work with the historical departments of the automotive brands like McLaren and Ferrari, or here Bugatti, Porsche, and so on. And so those are our, I would say, partners. All of our artworks and creations are officially endorsed and licensed with them. So maybe this is also a little introduction of what we are planning also in the NFT space. And as you can imagine, this is in a very tight collaboration with those brands, and being it just purely automotive, but also motorsport. Within motorsport, we do a lot of Formula One, Le Mans 24 hours racing, also MotoGP, but we are also looking into motorsports which are more known to you, like NASCAR or IndyCar. But also outside, we are just, as a small sneak preview, we are looking into possibilities around football, soccer, and so on.
Yeah, and
Without exciting.
Without trying to give away too much, we also, across all of that, we obviously we've kicked off with the fine art, and that kind of transcends across like sports and fine art. So we've kind of got this interesting positioning, but over the course of the coming year or two, we really want to expand and bring more utility. So we'll get more involved in the metaverse. We'll get involved a bit more in collectibles, wearables, things like that. So we've got a lot of good ideas, which are going to come in combination with these strong partners and the fantastic work that the creative team do. So hopefully, as a package, it will just grow and be more interesting for everybody.
Absolutely. I think that that's like the next step in most NFT projects, is to kind of look at utility and how that plays into, your experience. So to hear that you guys are already thinking about that and what it looks like for more collectors to get involved, whether that's, including more, sports outside of just, the auto sports, I think is an excellent idea. I think, there's a place for all of it. So being able to make it more accessible is key. So you guys have been excellent guests. Thank you so much for for joining us today. I think that, this is a super, super cool project. I'm really looking forward to seeing like what you guys have left. I don't know if you guys have chat, but if you can see our chat, but our chat absolutely loved the product. They thought it looked, to quote, very sick. This is awesome. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. So they said that the process looks amazing. Love the composition of your shots. So you got a lot of praise in chat, and I think that everyone agrees that you have an excellent product. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more from you in the future.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Yeah, it's been great to be on. Thank you, guys.
Awesome, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Good luck with the project. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Bye. Boom.
That's awesome.
First 3-person interview. I thought they killed that, man. These shots are absolutely fantastic. I want to talk with you a little bit about the difference between the really super high quality stuff that's going for, over 3, 4, 5 ETH, as opposed to kind of the route of let's, put it out in mass and see if we can't drive that price down a little bit. What are your thoughts there of going the route of let's create something super high quality and have the bids in that range?
I think that there's an approach for everybody. And I think that it doesn't apply, like there's not a one size fits all, right? Like I think that when you put in 4,000 hours into creating a piece of art, you have to consider that when you're putting it up for sale, right? So, the fact that these are fine art pieces and that they're going to be expensive is to be expected. That amount of work is a lot. Imagine, how much do you guys get paid for 4,000, or for 4,000 man hours? So, but I think that like when it comes to approach, when it comes to accessibility, the fact that they did bring up the fact that, hey, look, we know that this is fine art and we know that that's kind of like super expensive, but we also are looking at more accessibility, utility, use cases, things like that is exactly what all products should be doing. Look, I just had a conversation today. That's why it's so funny that you asked with a client, and they were like, talking about like, doing auctions versus, what if we put out editions of 2, 3, 4, 500, and we price them lower and we give more accessibility and we include it in, a set. And like, there's different ways of going about the NFT collecting experience that I think, that we need to see more of. I think that, the space got a little stale because everybody was doing the same exact thing. They were dropping one of ones. They were, collaborating and not putting much effort into those collaborations. The market is telling you right now that that's not the way that we want it to go, right? So more utility, more use, more accessibility, I think is huge, man. I want to see more of, look, numbers should not scare people, right? Like at the end of the day, like if you launch a product tomorrow and you launch it with 500, 1,000, 1,500, cards, let's just say, or editions of a card, in a year from now, that number is going to be like so rare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can look at a project like Blankos that we bought in 6 months ago. They've like almost triple or quadrupled their player count. And so like when you consider projects like that, like you don't worry about the numbers as much. I do think that there's a lot to be said to be able to do limited, but I also think for the masses, for mass adoption, we need to see more, more wax type drops, $10, $15, $20 packs, $40 packs, $100 packs that give us the ability to collect some really rare pieces by a project that puts, look, it doesn't have to be high quality equals high dollar purchase, right?
Yeah.
Like you can have a project like Bitcoin Origins that's high quality, but you can get in at $20 a pack and get 2 or 3, cool cards. And maybe you hit one that's super rare and you sell it and you can buy 10 more packs. So that's what's cool about the space.
Yeah. No, that's a great breakdown there. I continuously like going through these photos and going like looking at the absolute detail. I'm a big historian myself. I love that time frame too. I think that was a great time, one in American history, but there was a lot of awesome things in this time frame that they're kind of trying to capture. It reminds me a little bit of Band of Brothers and what they were trying to do with recreating World War II a little bit. I love that, dude. If they could possibly get like I would love to get like a recreation almost in that Band of Brothers kind of mindset of like different scenes with U.S. Army people and things like that. I love the idea of just fully recreating a scene from back in the day, man, and having it full color and full detail, because we don't, like they said, everything's black and white from back then. So it's awesome to see a full detailed color. I know I'm going down a rabbit hole here, so I don't want to
dude, I love it. And I think that's what makes the project super cool. Like he was saying, like the authenticity, I was listening really intently, but I didn't get a huge smile on my face until he said that McLaren, got back to them and was like, hey, there's these two things that you got wrong. Historically, they're not accurate. And it's as little as like, that's not the right type of fuel that the car would have used back then. So to think that amount of detail goes into it, it's just like a painter, every stroke, like especially like when you see like oil paintings up close, you can see every single stroke and you imagine that they had intent. So to know that these guys have that same amount of attention to producing what essentially is a digital piece of art is really, really cool. And then I started thinking, like, I wanted to ask them this, and I totally missed it, which was, it's natively digital. And I had a conversation with someone last week where his company produces like what are they, vinyl figurines, right? Like those like cool collectible, like 8-inch tall figurines. And he was like, it's natural because we already have the files. We have the 3D files already for all these things we're creating. So NFTs just make sense. So I'm curious if like they ever have, will they release the 3D model that they used for the vehicle in these pieces as a one of one itself? Yeah. Right. Like to have a historically accurate, like they said, they're going to crack into the metaverse, right? Like imagine having that specific one, be able to drop it in your crypto voxels.
Yeah, I know the utility piece was touched on later in the episode, but the first utility they need to add to these is just getting somebody a one-way ticket or a round-trip ticket, hopefully, to go be a part of this. Like, how cool would that be to just be here when, they're creating all of this? I think that's the first utility you need to have with this NFT. Say, hey, because you own this now, you can come and be a part of this next process whenever we recreate the next one.
Yeah.
So
that's a great idea. Imagine like you were the one who holds their very first NFT and they say, we'll fly you out here, we'll take photos of you in a historically accurate outfit, and you'll be a part of our, fifth NFT drop. Yeah. That's the type of stuff that we need to see, dude. It's so awesome.
I see the guys on the screen. They're throwing up the thumbs up. I see you guys in the background there. So they like that one too. But again, guys, awesome stuff. We'll be following the auction piece here as we go forward. And it looks like there are some bids on that first piece that was released earlier in the week. And then they're going to start on that second piece here that we kind of saw the whole behind the scenes piece there with them. So great stuff. Automobilist, we'll be following you guys. We'll be looking at your foray into the metaverse for sure. We love what Crypto Motors is doing. They're doing an awesome job kind of building that piece. So really excited. And I think I'm really excited for the rest of this episode too, man. Are you ready to get after it? You got any more pieces before we get out?
I think we've got some news to cover in the NFT space. No, I think that they were excellent guests. I'm really excited for what they're doing in the space. And you know me, man. It makes my heart super happy as soon as he starts talking about, we're looking at utility and how we can provide, more value. And instantly I'm just like, dude, that's the way. That's the way. So
absolutely.
I appreciate that.
All right,
I'm
guys,
ready for some news.
We are ready for some news, and I'm going to hit you with a pretty cool update that we got from Blankos today in video form. Blankos is great. Mythical Games, the studio that is actually producing Blankos, is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to producing these. So we'll let you guys get a load of their new update, and this update is ready to go live on July 1st. Look at that right there at the end. Blankos is going to be at E3. They dropped that right there near the end of that video. So super exciting stuff from Blankos. Adding the play to earn aspect is definitely great to see. They're actually allowing people to now earn the in-game Blankos bucks, which is, you know, the number one thing. Our boy Kagi would be super happy about that. But what do you think about this update here?
Yeah, no, huge. Just for clarification, Blankos bucks is still purchase only. The coins are what you get to earn, like the tokens or whatever. But like, and that's what's awesome, dude. Like you're now like you've got the ability to like go in and get like earn these rewards, right? And you throw in the fact that eventually we'll see a secondary market. It's going to be really cool. For anyone who missed it, they've got a lot of really dope updates in there. Obviously, they're going to be updating the junction there with some new pieces, as well as adding some new abilities to the characters. There's new quests, there's new characters. The whole thing is getting like a huge update. Pretty much what it looks like is they're going to have their seasons, and much like some of the other play to earn games, they will mix it up with a party pass that allows you to kind of earn these rewards. And I'm sorry, yeah. So the Blankos bucks actually are earnable through the party pass, and then like the in-game currency. Yeah. So and then outside of that, they're opening up the mashup ability, right? So this is something that a lot of us had fun kind of wondering what it would look like. And what does that look like? Essentially, it allows you to take two Blankos and you mix match them. If you match the Blankos, what you're doing is you're basically like taking the color palette from one and adding it to another. And so you're able to get these really cool kind of unique color combinations, and it gives you the ability to make your Blankos unique from other ones, especially if you're considering you want to sell it or whatever. Some other good things to note, or some important things to note, the Blankos themselves will see a reset. So we'll, the skills and everything that you've been leveling up are going to see a reset because they've reworked those. Every season, we're actually going to see new skill sets given out. So you'll be able to apply new skill sets to your Blankos, which is really cool. And then the other thing being that we are also going to have all of our Blankos are going to be reboxed, which is really interesting to me. Because that means that people who have been playing with their Blankos now have the ability to like kind of take that decision back to open them, right? Like for rarity's sake, and I'm interested to see how many people will just go ahead and crack their pack and open them up again, versus how many people will say, you know what, I'm just going to leave it in the box now because I didn't realize.
Yeah. So when I'm reboxing my Blankos, am I losing the rarity factor there?
So like I think like when the box is okay, so it's not going to change your edition number or anything like that. All it is it's literally putting it back in the box, and it's going to wipe your stats clean. And they basically said the reason they're doing it is because the new stats require like a reset, and since they're going to do that, they're going to put them all back in the box, so you have the decision of whether or not you want to unbox it or not is given to you again. So I think that kind of cool. I also feel like, darn, like I felt really good about the fact that I didn't open some of those very first like alpha ones. And now everyone gets the decision on whether or not they want to open them. So, but it'll be interesting. I think that, at the end of the day, this is how you create value in a project that exists, right? Like now you can mix up the color palette, which makes them, maybe you end up with a 1 of 1 because you mixed it with a really rare Blankos that you have, right? And nobody else really holds. So you kind of play with it in that way, as well as reboxing them and playing with the rarity as far as boxed versus unboxed, value there.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we'll be following Blankos a little bit. Obviously, we have those characters here. We have those boxes, and a lot of the lads at home are Blankos owners themselves. So can't wait to see Mythical Games continue to build that product out. I've got a little bit, speaking of product, Sandbox has got a good product. They've been absolutely killing it in their sales, and guess what, they're doing more. We've got Sandbox sales here. I covered this on Layer 1 Live yesterday, but it looks like for sand tokens there are going to be about 900 regular lands, 400 premium lands. I'll see if I can throw this up actually on the map here. Let me see if I can't get into Sandbox. So there actually is a visual representation of this land sale going on right now. Ronan, what do you think about the land that's happening, the land sales that are happening in Sandbox right now as I pull this up? Because they've seemingly raised millions of dollars, right, through this entire process. You can kind of see it on my screen. There are a lot of people interested in this project, and we're kind of one of them. We've got the land, they're waiting, and we're kind of sitting here patiently waiting for the product to continue to roll out. So what are your thoughts here as we see this massive piece of land unfold? Oh,
I think it's excellent, man. I think that like to see where it is now versus like the first time I jumped in for a sale, which was last August, I guess, is really, really mind blowing to see so many like new areas have opened up. So many new icons are dropping in. Obviously, over the past 8 to 10 months, they've had huge announcements and huge partnerships, from the Smurfs to Care Bears to Hackatow to, all these other excellent projects that are launching on the platform. So look, you see Bored Ape Yacht Club was announced as a partner. And what's cool is that, yes, they have brought up they have made a lot of money over the land sale, but they also have a pretty lucrative, what is it called? Their project, grant.
yep.
So if you have a really cool idea and you approach them with it and you give them a basically, like a business plan for what type of experience you'd like to add to the sandbox, you can actually get them to fund that for you. And I think that's the future. And that's what makes the space so unique, is it's so collaborative, right? Like and so you have these really unique opportunities where you can make money to literally create. So hopefully some people take advantage of that. I'm sure you guys will see some more representation of the LADZ in Sandbox as that experience grows and gets rolled out. But shout out to them. I think it's a cool project. I love the concept of a metaverse, and the closer we get, the better.
Yeah, Ronan, we got a ton of different comments coming through, even for the sandbox as well. So we need to make sure we're on top of this. Shroombo was asking, is the in-game currency an actual utility token? Looks like Xplow was saying that people should reward those who never opened, which I agree with. That's a really good mechanic there. And then Xplow is asking about the Sandbox Sale. Have they fixed the gas issues, which I think, again, they have not fixed. So last but not least, Small Town Cowboy, who has been building that awesome build that you saw right in the beginning of the episode. He's been getting after it in the Uplift world, which we can port to other worlds, by the way. He let me know that. We don't have to build new worlds from scratch because he's, yes, be excited. And let me just drop this here, because he's saying invites were sent out this morning to the Mythical Games marketplace. So he's getting after it in Mythical Games there in Blankos, but he's also getting after it in our own community. And I think we can make the announcement that him and Asmodai will be getting the community grant for next month. So they are going to get a supply of LADs. They've been absolutely getting after it again, like I said. So really excited to have them get the community grant for next month. I know he's been patiently waiting for us to get back to him. So really cool that we got that to go to, man.
Absolutely, dude. That is really cool. I love to hear that news. To address though, somebody did ask, the in-game currency is an actual utility token. It is not. I would imagine that they would have a conversation with the SEC if it were. It's a Small Town Cowboy. Congratulations on getting in on the closed alpha. I just checked my email. I didn't get in, so I'm going to be PMing someone over at Mythical and asking, how does a brother get in? Especially since I don't know. I advised on that whole secondary market thing a month ago.
Ooh,
I want in, man.
All right.
I know some of the juicy details. I want to see how it panned out. I think that project's awesome. I fully support it. I can't wait to see where it goes in the future. You didn't need that.
I didn't need that at all. All right. Okay. Listen, we have something on our dashboard that is before this this title here, or this project that we're going to speak on, but I'm too excited to not cover this, man. Let's just cover it. We're both apes here. So let's just cover the Bored Ape Yacht Club merch release, man, because this is such a freaking cool story. What is going on with the Bored Ape Yacht Club here, and what are they doing with this merch, Ronan?
Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, if you hold a Bored Ape, you get access to the very first merchandise drop by the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And if you check out this video that Q's sharing, some of these prints are pretty cool. I can't wait to see what else. I'm hoping that my ape's black hat is going to be one of the things I'm able to pick up, but we'll see. I think that, dude, if you're an ape, this is a moment where you start getting really, really excited, because this is literally just the beginning. It's only been less than a month. And this is one of the utility cases that a lot of people were super excited about. So to know that having an ape gets me into this sale, I'll be there. Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, so the first thing I wanted to know was, are the shirts free? Are they free to all airdroppers? I think that you just kind of, or owners, but I think you kind of answered that. And then the second piece is it one ape, or are they actually making multiple apes throughout this entire process? I want
I
to know
think
that.
that they, yeah, like I think that it's going to be kind of like random. I don't know. But just from like what I've seen and what I've heard and kind of like the community, it seems like the merch that they're going to be producing is going to be more general Bored Ape, like overall. So I'm actually honestly kind of surprised that they even had like the stencil there, but maybe that's one of the ones that they kept as like, you know, the company, because I know the company kept some for like their staff. So maybe that's one they kept, and their intent is to kind of use that ape as their motto. But absolutely, I think that hopefully we see some merchandise that's a little more personalized to the apes that we own. But you know, I think that regardless, this is a very, very cool opportunity. And I'm sorry, I said 7 p.m. It's 6 p.m. Eastern.
You want to see a community? Look at all the retweets. Look at everyone who's quote tweeting this. Do you see the ape? I see an ape. I see an ape. I see an ape. That's community right there.
Everyone's got an ape. That's awesome. That's so awesome, dude. It's so cool to see. And I think that like this is what NFTs are about, community. And that's those are the type of products that are going to do really, really well. So awesome. Shout out to Bored Ape Yacht Club and all the other apes in our community.
Got it. Okay, so this next piece, really quick, I'm going to fly over, but this is a really cool. This is really cool personally, but also as a story, it's awesome because one of the first times I met Ronan, I think he was wearing a Josie Bellini shirt. Is that true? Yeah, I think that's the first time I saw him, and it's a really dope like. She's like a chick. She has like, I guess, dollar bills and a mask, and it's a really dope merchandise
and it's an AR
piece.
Yep, and it's AR enabled. I don't know if I've told you that. Like it's AR enabled, so like you can like I showed a group of teenagers once. I was wearing it, and they were like, "Your shirt's so cool!" And I was like, "No, this isn't even the coolest part about the shirt." And I handed them my phone and pulled up the app, and the mask like fades on and off, and then the money that's like falling literally like falls around her. Dude, that's. This is super, 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 super exciting for me. I think Josie is a huge pioneer in the NFT art space. She's done excellent work. The fact that she was one of the first to start including AR in her pieces. Yep, that's the chick. That's the one with that I have on my shirt. And is just, you know, is next level. So super, super huge shout out to her and everyone else. I mean, Christies is including a decent amount of artists moving forward. So but you know, I can't wait to see where this goes because she deserves every penny.
Yeah, really like the detail on this piece as we kind of zoom in here. You can see the bear head with the bull horns and then a bunch of different cryptocurrencies. I think there's Cardano in there, so I don't know. That kind of it precludes me to buying this, but this is a really dope piece, Josie, and super excited to see you on Christies. I mean, just the mere fact that they're getting more and more into NFTs past those CryptoPunk sales is awesome to see. So just wanted to touch on that as we move into our next story, which is Artifex. So we've got 2 more stories, guys. Stick with us. We're going to hit it, and we will continue on.
Yep. So Artifex has launched. For anyone who isn't sure exactly what this product is, or this project rather, these are the guys who spent a whole slew of cash to put 100 NFT artists all over New York City for the span of I think like 3 or 4 days. So if you lived in New York and you were walking the streets and you walked past a billboard or a bus station or a bus itself, or they even had those digital signboards that drive around the city, and they were all displaying, even Times Square, they were displaying NFTs. And so basically the way this project works is each NFT is a piece of art, which you can see kind of like here in this rare room space. So the piece of art is on the wall. What they did was they collaborated with Dirk at Work, who did the 3D rendition of each of these pieces. So not only do you get the piece of art, but you also get these 3D files that you're able to display in the metaverse, which is super, super cool. And then on top of that, you also get, I believe, an edition of this rare room where you can display your art. And if you check this out, if you guys want to check it out, we can share. I'll drop the link to these rare rooms in chat. But as the project goes on, they've got these rooms that kind of have, 3 to 5 artists in them. They will all open up and they'll be connected. So you can actually turn around, you can click the door like Q just did, and kind of be, teleported to another room. I think there's only like 2 or 3 rooms open currently, but I think they open a new room every week. And it'll have new artists in it. You can get in, you can check out the pieces, look around, click them, the whole shebang. So this is, I think, the metaverse at its best. This is why this space makes me so excited, because you can get in, you can see it, you can move around, you can like get a vibe for this piece of art, but you also realize it's a collaboration, right? Like this was like a collab between 2 artists, right? Like that, it's like a 3D artist who's taking full inspiration from like a 2D piece. So to see the collab, to see them, linked up with a project like Rare Room, where you can go in and you have this really cool experience to view and share your NFTs, I think is really, where we're going, and to see more of these opportunities is what I hope to see. And I think most of the community would appreciate, because this is really, really cool.
Absolutely, man. Great story here, and I love these different rooms that are starting to pop up. I know a bunch of people are trying to target this kind of model, basically being able to display your NFTs. And one of the rooms actually what was the room? Cyber? That actually got me to purchase my Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT there, man, because I needed it. I needed to hang it. I needed to show it off, all that good stuff. So that is pretty much what we will get to today, guys. The last piece of story that I did have that I wanted to touch on with Ronan here was sports leagues getting after it when it comes to NFTs. So we do have a Man City piece that I want to pull up on the screen, but Ronan, the first one I wanted to show you because it's close to my heart is a lacrosse NFT piece. And primarily what I want to do is look at the rewards that they're kind of offering, right? So this is the owner's pass auction. I know you haven't seen this, and that's partly I reached out to Paul Rabel, who is the owner of this league, to say, hey man, you really need to like get on this NFT thing. This was about a month ago. And apparently they were already in, they were already in process, in motion. I'm sure they were. But the way they went about this is interesting. So if I go into one of these teams, so now a team represents one of the teams in the league. Oh, no. A 404. That's never good.
Oops.
So basically what they did, man, was offer that's unfortunate. So basically what they did was offer tickets. They offered one-on-one calls with the league founders. They offered a championship ring, and they got up to like 10. I think the initial offers were like 10 grand, but it was definitely an interesting way to go about it. Usually when you think sports leagues, you're thinking let's have player collectibles. That's the easiest thing to kind of attack. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to kind of get into that because they didn't have kind of that on the screen there. But really interesting approach is going after the owner's pass as opposed to the player collectibles. I thought that was a debatable topic that we could have had, but unfortunately 404 cannot find. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that before we get into the city piece?
I think dude, utility and being able to give access, talking to different, projects and stuff. It's like really think about like some cool experiences that you can provide, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be as simple as, like you said, getting on a Skype call with someone who's important, right? Like getting a 15-minute chat, getting a private note, or a hand signed piece of memorabilia, things that people typically like to collect and have only had a means of obtaining straight up by like purchasing with cash, whatever. So I think that like to see that is excellent, and I love it, dude. I love to see that they've done that, and hopefully the owners are super happy, because I think they would be. If you're a fan, like access is what you want.
Exactly. I think we touched on access earlier. That's definitely a premier utility. If you have something that people want to be a part of, that should be 100% in your pocket when it comes to the utility piece. So all right, so basically overall sports leagues across the board, not just lacrosse, my little small lacrosse league that I love to follow. It's PLL, it's Major League Lacrosse. We haven't seen, Major League Soccer. We haven't seen the NFL get in, but there's UFC. There's all these different strong brands that are starting to move in the space. And in this piece by Manchester City, dropping NFT art with a specific, artist here is kind of the general direction we're headed. Is seeing all of these sports leagues and all of these sports teams get involved in NFT, the NFT space. So this is just another kind of another domino, if you will, in getting all of sports leagues involved, all types of different brands involved. So.
Yep. And I think that it's just the natural progression. I mean, for anyone who, you look at what the NBA did, right? Like with Top Shot, and everyone else is like, can we recreate that? Right. But like, it's just going to depend. It's going to depend on, like we talked about, access. Like, one of the cool things I thought that I didn't know this, generally speaking, I actually just heard this last week, which is the NBA, not only do they have Top Shot, but they've also allowed every team, they've got this agreement with every team that each team in the league has the ability to do one NFT project themselves using their their images and stuff. And so I think, like, this year, I know here in Atlanta they've got some plans for the Hawks. I know, like, we've already seen the Washington drop, but we're going to see probably a drop from every single team, and they're probably going to go about it in every which way you can think of. And I think that's excellent, because hopefully during the off season they all get together and they figure out what works. And then 2022 we see a ton of NFT experiences that include a utility or really cool memorabilia that is unavailable in any other way. So really looking forward to the next like we continue to take these steps towards having more of a mass adoption appeal, and this is the way.
Exactly. So
they've got a Seattle versus Atlanta.
Exactly. See, these are the pieces.
I missed it.
So really quick, fans can start their MLS NFT collection by purchasing a limited edition matchup poster NFT during the Portland, LA, and Seattle, Atlanta matches. There's an unlimited supply during the 90 minutes of action. Once the match ends, the poster are no longer available, and they're going to be using these, in various forms, right? If you can get a collection, it's very NBA Top Shot-esque when it comes to that. I'm sure the more NFTs you collect, the more rewards you'll receive from that team or that brand. So just a quick foray there, but I'm excited to see the NFL and different bigger brands get involved in this. I guess the biggest how can I say this? I think the biggest debate to have when it comes to these sports NFTs is going to be player versus brand. When it comes to, like, a Rob Gronkowski wants to launch an NFT, it's like, hold on, man. Like, there's the NFL. So the NFL is not really involved yet, which allows people like Rob to come in and launch their own NFTs. But as this gets going, it's going to be, interesting to see.
Well, and then you didn't use any images either.
That's true.
Like, yeah, like, so you have to, like, and it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see, like, where, these leagues take it, because each of the leagues even approach how they pay their players for merchandising differently. Mm-hmm. I got a buddy who played in Major League Baseball, and I didn't know this either. He said that, you don't get paid on your own merchandise. Like, yep. All of the players in MLB share one big pool that is paid out to all of them, and it's based on tenure, I think, how much you get. So he was like, the first day I showed up, they threw me, like, literally a wad of $10,000, and was like, that's your merchandise share. He was like, I didn't have merchandise. He's like, but, like, everyone in the league gets a piece of it depending on how long you've been in it. So with all those thoughts and having sat at the table and knowing how long it takes for these people to sign a contract and go through the law aspect of this side of things, it's going to be interesting to see. But I like to see that they have got these secret walls. I like that they've got a named set that you can collect. That usually means that, hopefully there's some plans there and there's some forethought into, like, what does this look like moving forward? And that's what I like to see, and what I would love to hear from more brands is, like, hey, this is where we're starting and this is what our hope is. And if it works, like, this is where we'd like to go.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the player response to this as well. So all in all, a great kind of news week for NFTs. It's not as bustling as it was a month ago, but there's a lot of building going on. So really excited to kind of keep bringing you guys the news here with NFT Live. The one thing, Ronan, I see on that thumbnail that we never got to, so I'm going to have to kind of back end or get it on Friday or what have you, unless you have it off the top of your dome. Crypto Trunks Did you get into crypto trunks at all before we end the episode?
No.
Yeah,
no.
we're gonna have to back in
Too
that
many.
up.
Too many projects, and crypto trunks is not one of the ones that excites me. I will say though, shout out to Easy. Snag you an 8, brother. The lads will take care of you. So either way, we appreciate you. We appreciate chat. We appreciate everyone who came. A special shout out to the Automobilist team who came on and were an excellent interview. I think those guys are doing a lot of cool chico. Do you have anything before we say goodbye?
Nothing, man, but I really want to read off this description because it's actually pretty funny. Crypto Trunks is a CryptoPunks refashion, and it refashions a trader's transaction history into an illustration of the environmental damage caused by cryptocurrency mining. The larger the tree, the more a trader has warmed the planet. Starting Friday, users could grow one of 19,500 trees for free. All they had to do was pay for ever-changing gas fees. So there we covered it.
Sell out?
I don't think so. I'm not.
I want to see how big my tree is. Not for any Anyways, all right, you guys know what's up. It's been an excellent episode, excellent week. We appreciate you so much. It's our vibe and our tribe.
Later, guys.